July 18, 2012. We have established a quorum. And Mr. North, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so very much. I would like to acknowledge if there are any public officials in the audience tonight. Seeing none, welcome to all of you. And we'll move right on into our governance issues. Mr. North.
The consent agenda. A, recommended approval of architectural firms for Antioch Middle School renovation, Norman Binkley Elementary School renovation and 10 classroom addition, John Early Museum Magnet Middle School 12 classroom addition, Joelton Middle School renovation, A.Z. Kelly Elementary School 10 classroom addition, Henry Oliver Middle School 12 classroom addition, Rose Park Middle School renovation, Stratford High School renovation, Hume Fogg Magnet High School gym addition. B, awarding of contracts. 1, Noser Consulting, number 1. And 2, Noser Consulting, number 2. Madam Chair, that completes the consent agenda.
Do we have a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Hayes, recommend approval of 2012-2013 operating budget. Do you have any comments?
Thank you. At 5 o'clock this evening, the Finance Committee met and voted to approve the 2012-2013 amended operating budget. I do not have any comments. I believe that Mr. Henson would like to give a brief presentation of the changes that we have made. I will remind our viewing public that this is to correlate the budget we previously passed to the budget that was passed by council on just before June 30th.
Thank you.
Thank you, and what I will do is reiterate some of the comments that I made at our 5 o'clock Budget and Finance Committee meeting. As you know, back on June the 19th, the Metro Council approved a substitute budget ordinance, which kept the appropriation that's allocated to Metro schools at $720.4 million, which was the amount that the mayor recommended and the amount that this board approved in a revised budget. What the substitute ordinance also did was to direct $3.5 million of that $720.4 million to be considered an operating transfer to the school district's debt service fund. So in essence, it required the school district to reduce its operating budget by $3.5 million to compensate for that operating transfer to the debt service fund. The executive staff, Dr. Register, we spent numerous hours looking at potential areas to make reductions. We wanted to be deliberate. We wanted to be methodical and purposeful. We used the same process, albeit an abbreviated process, that we typically use when we put the budget together so that everybody can have a say in what we're proposing to reduce. We actually went through every single account and line item in the budget, spent a number of hours talking about our priorities as a school district, what the school district's goals and objectives are, and to try to keep the reductions away from the classroom and away from instruction as much as possible. So you have included in your packet, and also on the screen here, if it can be seen, a listing of a number of items that make up the $3.5 million in reductions. A number of these reductions are actually reductions to additions that had previously been approved through the budget process. And so what we tried to do, as we knew we were going to be crossing over into a new fiscal year, We didn't want to get into a situation where we were actually laying people off by reducing their positions, so we concentrated our efforts on positions that we were proposing to add to the budget, as well as possibly any vacant positions, and also looking at our non-personnel line items where we could make reductions, again, trying to stay away from the classroom and away from the instructional process as much as we could. You can see we go all the way down to a $10,000 reduction, so as we went through and made this recommendation for these items of the $3.5 million. So we were looking, not trying to nickel and dime it to death, but we were looking to try to look at every single line item. And if there were areas where we felt like we could make reductions and still achieve our goals and objectives, then we put it on the table to consider. And so with that, I'm going to let Dr. Register make some comments, and then I'll close this out.
Thanks, Chris. I think the first thing I'd like to say is to thank Metro Council and Mayor Dean for an increase. And let us not lose the fact that even though we're reducing what our original request was, that this budget is about a $42 million, a little over $42 million increase in revenue, in large part due to the tax increase that was approved by Metro Council. And we've talked a lot about our budget, and we have to make some reductions in our increases, Chris noted, but I think we also need to recognize the fact that Mayor Dean and Metro Council have really stepped up to give us an increase in budget, and we're a very fortunate urban school system, and I think we need to recognize that. There are some components of the budget, that a couple of big items in the budget that I think are very important. We did one of the key requests in the budget was to increase beginning pay for teachers. We were not very competitive in this state at the bottom of the salary schedule for beginning teachers. Our teachers' starting pay was less than $35,000 a year, and a key feature of this recommendation is to take beginning pay, and that essentially means that all of those teachers in the first 5 years of their work experience would be raised to a $40,000 beginning pay. It was fun yesterday morning. This morning, it seems like yesterday, but it was this morning. It was fun this morning to go to the new teacher orientation. About 205 people were there this morning being oriented, and to say that this recommendation was coming to the board tonight, and that we felt very confident in what the board action would be, because it's been something that's been talked about. The other side of this, we could not afford to do everything for that we had included in our teacher line item. The compression, the top end of the scale, is something that we could not afford to do. That's a savings of about $1.5 million. But it's important to note that all teachers get, regardless of where they are on a salary schedule, they would get a minimum of the governor's 2%. That equates to 1.93% on our budget. And if they're due steps for longevity, they get those. So hopefully we can come back in another year and spend some time this year studying our salary schedules and look at this concept of compression and see if we can't do that too. This is a real change in lifetime earnings for all teachers who come to work in metropolitan Nashville Public Schools. And I think very powerful statement. We have seen just the rumor of this has made a huge difference in our being able to recruit some top quality people into our system this year. I also want to say that we are very proud to have included in our budget, and it's still in the budget, a 2% increase across cost of living increase for support staff. It's the first time since 2006, is that correct?
2007.
2007, Chris, and plus the steps that support employees get on their salary schedule. The last part that I'll mention, something that's also very important. We did not reduce teachers in this budget. We had built into our original budget request the increase of 90 teachers for growth, in the district, and those 90 teaching positions are still in the recommendation. With that, I think those are the main components that I wanted to highlight, and I'm going to turn it back over to Chris now.
Thank you, Dr. Register. What I'll do is just, if I could, and I've got it up on the screen, I know it's too small to see, but if I could direct you to document number 1 of the budget document, which again is that summary of changes, just to point out the differences from what you approved back on May 8th to what's being requested to be approved this evening. Under the employee compensation items at the top, there is no change. It remains the same. As Dr. Register said, it does include the 2% salary schedule increase for all support employees in that. We did include in the middle of the page under required additions other, the last line item, the operating transfer to the school district's debt service fund as a part of the substitute budget ordinance. This was that $3.5 million that is included in the school district's $720.4 million budget that will be an operating transfer over to our debt service fund. And as Dr. Register indicated, in that same area in the middle of the page, we were able to maintain the addition of 90 additional teaching positions for us to be able to maintain class sizes and student-teacher ratio based upon the number of additional students that are projected to come into our school district this year. So those are really and I guess I'll mention one more piece, which is down under proposed changes. That first item, compressed steps 0 through 5 on the current teacher salary schedule. Previously, that had a $5.9 million cost as we were compressing the top end of the teacher salary schedule, where the top step would be step 15 as opposed to the current step 25. That was a part of the budget reductions, equated to approximately $1.5 million. So that number has gone down from $5.9 million to the $4.4 million that you see here. Again, the total increase is approximately $46.4 million. If you take out the $3.5 million that is the operating transfer to debt service, about a $42.9 million increase in our operating budget to an approved amount of $720.4 million. And I'll be glad to entertain any questions that you may have.
Anyone? Any questions for Mr. Hanson? If not,
Is there a move to approve the 2012-2013 operating budget?
I move to approve the current budget.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Excellent.
thank you. And thank you, Mr. Henson, with your expertise and your hard work. We really appreciate it all. Okay. Any announcements?
I'll just have
Yes.
just a couple. On Monday, July 23rd at 6:30, there will be a meet and greet with Dr. Donna Wilburn, who is the new executive principal at Cane Ridge Elementary School. That will be held at Cane Ridge High School. Also on July 24th at 5 p.m., we will hold a meet and greet with Dr. Adrian Koger, who is the new executive principal at Antioch High School, and that will be held at Antioch High School. And just because I don't see Miss Libby, school starts August 1st.
That was my announcement.
That's all.
Ms. Shepherd?
Just a quick announcement, the McGavitt Cluster Coalition Advisory Council will be meeting tomorrow, Thursday the 19th at 4 p.m. at the high school. And I don't know that I've mentioned this before, but mark your calendars for Thursday, October the 25th. That'll be our inaugural initiative to fund our last dollar effort for the coalition. We will be having a very nice event that night, and our keynote speaker will be Governor Haslam. So we're all looking forward to that. We're very excited about that. We've started planning, so we're pumped.
Any other announcements? Dr. Register, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Yes? Well, Ms. Simmons, I think you're on.
Well, I'll be brief and move to adjourn.
All in favor, leave.
45, 544.
Good job.